Today I'm going to cover 4 of the most common red flags that I see when producers try to make lo-fi beats. After listening to a lot of your guys' lo-fi beats when I do beat reviews, I noticed some very common mistakes. And today I'm going to cover 4 of those mistakes and how you can fix them to make better lo-fi beats. Starting off, a big flag that I commonly see is improper drumming. Here we have a beat by one of my subscribers named Fabio. Let's take a listen. And by the way, before we get into it, if you like my videos, think about subscribing because it really does help me out. Anyways, back to the beat here. Now there's a lot about this beat that really does fit into the lo-fi aesthetic that's done really well. For example, if you listen to all of the musical elements in this beat, this is a great foundation for a lo-fi beat, but unfortunately the big mistake that was made in this beat was the drumming. This is actually something that I commonly see. I think what's happening here is that a lot of producers are used to making trap beats, but they eventually want to give lo-fi a try. The problem here is that they end up bringing their trap habits into lo-fi and it just does not fit. Lo-fi has its own particular fundamentals that you need to understand. If we were to take a look at how these drums were programmed here, for example, we have the hi-hats that are on every 16th step. And if we take a look at this drum loop, we have the stuttering hi-hats at the end here. These are essentially trap drumming techniques that we're seeing in this beat. And outside of the actual programming, the drum selection here itself is also very trap-esque. For example, with this hi-hat, this feels very digital and very synthetic. Even with a lot of these other textures, I see that they are labeled lo-fi. But just because a sound has no high-end frequencies doesn't mean it's automatically going to fit into the lo-fi aesthetic. Honestly, I have no idea how this is even considered lo-fi. This snare here sounds very digital and synthesized as well, so it's going to be hard to get this to fit into a lo-fi beat. Now, if you have a hard time differentiating between different drum styles and sounds and how to get them to fit into your beat, I really recommend checking out the video that's right above my head. In it, I walk you guys through the different types of drum sounds that different subgenres use and how to get your drums to fit into the style of beat that you're trying to make. So when trying to fix this beat, let's go ahead and try to swap out these drums and this drum pattern for something that actually does fit into the lo-fi aesthetic. When choosing drums, you want sounds that are more acoustic sounding, like it's more from a drum break. Here I found the snare that fits into this aesthetic idea. I also layered another similar type of snare underneath. And with a hi-hat, I found something that also sounds less digital, more acoustic, and you guys can see with the way that I programmed them. It's on every 8th step rather than every 16th step. So we can hear how this sounds now. Now this feels a lot more lo-fi, especially with how these drums are programmed. If you want a deeper explanation on lo-fi drum patterns and how to program them yourself, you can check out the video right above my head. In it, I show you guys some techniques that you can keep in mind when you're trying to make a pattern that sounds like this. So as you can see, even if you got everything else in your beat right, having just one element be off, like your drums, can ruin all of the good work that you did in your lo-fi beat. Now, if you don't fully understand just how important this is, let me explain this a different way. Let's say you were put in charge of making the next Avengers movie. Everything's going well so far. All your superheroes are in the movie and they're looking great. You have your Iron Mans, he's flying around there. You've got your Hawkmans, he's in there too. Everything is looking great. The costume design is perfect. So far, so good. But let's say you decided to overlook one of the characters. When it comes time to including the Hulk, you decide to use someone else in the movie that's just close enough. Someone who doesn't match the aesthetic perfectly, but is pretty similar. Instead of the Hulk, you decide to put Shrek in your movie. They're both big, they're both green. You think to yourself, close enough. Just like how when you made your lo-fi beat, you choose trap drums because, well, they're still drums. You still made a drum pattern out of them. Close enough. Even if you get most of the other elements in the movie right and everything else is perfectly done, one error can still ruin the entire thing. If you did this with the Avengers movie, you already know what would happen. Everyone would say it's the worst movie ever, the movie would end up losing millions of dollars. Worst of all, nerds would go on Reddit and leave mean comments about you, all because you decide to do just one thing differently. And that's why it's so important to get all of the elements right, because even if you get one thing that's a bit off, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb and just easily ruin everything else. And this is exactly what happens when you use the wrong drums in your lo-fi beat. Shrek is gonna end up ruining your career. The next beat that we're gonna look at is this one here by my subscriber named Farhad. Now in this beat there are two red flags that I want to point out. First one has to do with instrumentation. Lo-fi is a genre that's derivative of jazz ultimately, and so in order to make a beat that fits into that aesthetic, it can be a smart idea to choose jazzier types of instrumentation. Part of the reason why it would be so incredibly difficult to get this beat to sound lo-fi is because these types of bright synths that show up in this beat aren't really commonly things that you would hear in jazz. For sure, there were some synths used in jazz, like in jazz fusion, but for the most part, sticking to the more common jazz instruments like Fender Rhodes, pianos, guitars, vibraphones, these are the instruments that can help you better create a lo-fi feel in your beat. Now, I don't want to discourage experimentation. I always think it's a great idea to push the boundaries of genres, but if you're having a hard time getting your beat to sound like contemporary lo-fi, this can be a reason why. So let's make some changes here. Let's take these chords and replace this instrument with a Fender Rhodes. This piano here sounds pretty decent. I won't switch this out since pianos are pretty common in lo-fi beats like I just mentioned. I'm going to completely get rid of this synth here. I'm going to replace it with something that's far less bright and in your face and instead make something that's a little bit ethereal. So now let's take a listen. Now this sounds a lot more lo-fi. It's pretty much the exact same beat for the most part. All I did was switch out the instruments and process them to sound a little bit more lo-fi. I'll quickly show you guys what I did with the Fender Rhodes, for example. I threw in a couple of tape emulation plugins, so here we have Reels. After this we have Super VHS. This can do a great job of widening a sound. You could probably achieve something similar with a chorus effect though. Then I grabbed an EQ and I boosted some of the mid-low range frequencies here. I also threw on some halftime, but I brought the mix down quite a bit to maybe just a quarter. This is a trick that I like to use every once in a while. If I have a sound that I like, but I want it to fill up more of the low end than it currently does, this is exactly what I'll do. You guys can hear the extra low end that's going to be generated compared to if I didn't have this. So yeah, after swapping out the instruments in this beat for ones that are a little bit more conventional, this beat sounds a lot more lo-fi now. So that's one red flag that I wanted to cover. The second one has to do with space. Again, with lo-fi beats, a lot of people will describe these types of beats as sounding very warm. But what does this mean exactly? Let's go back and take a look at the original again. Let's take a look and see which frequency space the musical instrumentation takes up in this beat. You guys can see we have an incredibly huge presence in the high end here. Having these brighter tones all the way up here is basically the opposite of what you want to do when you're trying to create that warm feeling in your beat. Now if you compare this to the frequency readout of the beat that I fixed, you can see most of the presence is in the lower end, and this is typically where those warmer frequencies are, towards the low end of the frequency spectrum. So if you're trying to make a lo-fi beat but you can't figure out why the feel of it isn't very warm, one common mistake I see producers make is choosing really bright sounding instruments. And finally, the very last flag that I want to cover. Here we have a beat by one of my subscribers named Kirby. A really good foundation with this beat, but I do feel that there is something missing here. With lo-fi, many people have this idea that the beats need to be minimal, and the more minimal it is, the better the beat is. This seems to be what's happening with this beat here. But I would say there is such a thing as being a bit too minimal. At the end of the day, we are still making music, and we do need to get our music to sound full and complete. One way of doing this is by having a more full presence along the entire frequency spectrum. When listening to this beat, it has very little going on in the very low end and the very high end. Granted, with lo-fi there is going to be less going on in the high end. That is one of the staples of the genre. Typically it is going to be a good idea to grab an EQ and reduce a lot of the high end presence with many of the sounds in your beat, but regardless there still needs to be some presence up there. And this is why adding static or some type of noise is a really smart idea, especially with lo-fi. Yes, it does work as an aesthetic choice like we're listening off of a vinyl or a tape. But in terms of its utility, it does also provide some presence in the high end as well. Two birds, one stone. The other issue that's going on in this beat is that it's got no presence in the low end. All we have is the kick, but beyond that, nothing. And so introducing a bass line into your beat is going to be a great way of making it sound full and complete in the low end as well. Now this beat feels a lot more complete, like a full beat. You guys can hear the before and after. Now if you just started making beats and coming up with bass lines is giving you a problem and that's the reason why you choose not to include them in your beat, I recommend watching the video right above my head where I show you guys some really helpful tips when coming up with bass lines for your beat. So even though being minimal can help you create that lo-fi feel, do understand that there is a line, and if you cross it, your beat can start to sound less lo-fi and rather just incomplete. So those are the 4 flags of lo-fi. If you guys enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Head over to betterbeatmaker.com if you want some advanced beatmaking tutorials. My free drum kit's available in the description box below, as well as a link to the Discord if you want to join my producer community, and I'll see you guys next time.